mind is that we have our imagination, just as actors have our imagination. We have whatever we can perceive in our minds, we can then find a way to be able to express personally. So that's why we do things like word pictures, to be able to take what's in the picture that's in my mind and to be able to put it into words and be able to then pass that on to somebody else. But pictures, I mean words can be flat. They can have nothing to them. So that's why we want to take those words and we want to shape them in some way. How do we shape them? Well, we shape them by the use of our voice. So we use our voice, the highs of our voice, the lows of our voice, the soft, the loud, the sharpness, the attack that we can use. We use the colors in our voice in order to be able to create meaning for those words, in order to be able to speak to people and transfer some meaning in those words. Okay, great, we can do that, but I'm sure we've all experienced somebody who's standing up and is absolutely in love with their voice and they don't hear what they're speaking to, and they can use their voice in any way that they choose to. However, it doesn't seem to land on anybody because they could be doing it in a private room. For all they care, they're not connecting. So, gee, we have to send, and we have to make sure it lands somewhere. We have to become aware of the receivers in the courtroom. Well, in the theater, we know who the receivers are. The receivers is the audience. They have to be able to hear us. They have to be able to understand us. And we have to, any actor will tell you, be aware without changing the play. We have to become aware of the subtle nuances that are different for every single, the energy that's different for each audience. From Friday to Saturday to Sunday, you're aware of that, although you don't change the play. Well, for attorneys, you're speaking to the judge often, you're speaking to witnesses often, but who is it that are the receivers of your information? Always. The jury, again, the individual jurors, and it's not the box of people it's the individual people in the jury box. They are always the receivers of your information. Well, what do we know? Just like actors, we know that Friday night audiences are different than Saturday night audiences, because Friday's the end of the week and people are carrying all that energy from the end of the week. And Saturday, and sometimes people go out and they drink before they go to the theater, and that makes their reactions a little slow. And Saturday, they've had a good night's sleep, and they're usually there and with it and relaxed. Well, your individual members in the jury box, these are people that you have met as individuals during voir dire. You've learned who they are ahead. You've learned the technicalities of who they are ahead of time, but then you've been able to marry the technicalities with a face and an energy from that person. You've asked open-ended questions and you've listened to what they've said. You've noticed the nuances in their reactions. You've noticed the hesitation on certain words. You've noticed the pause that they take for a little while before they actually respond honestly. You've noticed when their voices have dropped around certain things. All of that information has begun to tell you something about those people because you've stood there and allowed them to go through their process in preparation to speak to you. You've respected them by giving them time to speak. And you've taken this information and you've had an intuition, if you will, about who they are and what they're all about. Now, what do you do with all that information once you've got it? Once you've got that information, now you can say, okay, Mrs. Jones is very sensitive to the idea of rape. Mr. Alexander is very much into hardline decisions. That there's very little gray area, things are black or things are white. So knowing that about those individuals and knowing something about everybody else on the church, what you do is when you have your opening statement, you know that they are the receivers, right? You are the sender. You got to have something that each one of them wants to receive. So you make sure that in the theme of your case, you're able to describe it and use words, use images that are appropriate in the persuasion of each individual person. Let me explain that another way, because this is crucial stuff. When you were a kid, did you know how to persuade your mother about certain things versus persuading your father about certain things? Yes, we did. We learned that very early. What was the difference? Anybody? Bert.
Well, my dad wanted me to be short without any acceptance.
Her dad wanted to